Hi, I'm Richard Ainge. I'm the founder of Chaos Technology and the Chief Product Architect of the V3R software. And a new feature we've just added into the software ahead of the anticipated release is the new support system. So let me just explain what that means now. So right down at the bottom, you'll see an icon for support. If I click on that, it will then bring up a new interface on the right-hand side of the system. This will allow us to be able to send a support request. So if you're having problems with the software, whether you want to ask for a feature request for something that you're doing, special workflow, for example, or if you find a bug, you can then report that to us. And you don't have to go to, online and everything else. It's all handled internally inside the software. Now, for example, maybe I want to add a feature request. So, maybe I'm printing onto wood, and this is a genuine request that's come from somebody recently, one of our customers. So we are I'll use that as an example. So can you simulate wood? Hey, give as much details as possible. When you're doing support things, the amount of information about the issue or what you want is really critical, because otherwise we're only going to have to ask you. So for example, I print on wood. Can you add it as a base material with texture and grain and options for color or wood type? Now, this was actually a bit of a complex request because in itself it is very difficult to do wood, because what kind of wood? Is it going to be ebony? Is it going to be oak or pine or any other thing? And then is it rough sawn edges? Is it wanting to do it three-dimensional? So there's a whole range of complexity to it. So just because I'm simulating that there doesn't mean it's actually going to come out, but you never know. So it'll give you a support ticket information there, so if you want to, you can copy that down. So if we go over to the CRM system, so what we have, we build everything internally ourselves. So we don't outsource anything. So any information that you give us, it's all kept internal. We don't use Salesforce. We built our own CRM system. We don't use analytics or insight systems because we've built our own. Zendesk type support systems, we've built our own as well. So if I go over to support, periodically this will pull the information in from the V3R system. I'm just going to pull it in manually for now, and you can now see that we have a support ticket that's come in, which is the one I've just issued. So we know who you are, the company, your name, etc., and what you want to do. So I can then reply to that saying, not yet, but we have some ideas for handling this, maybe in the Pro version. So we can then send that across to the customer. If we want to, we can attach examples or PDFs or whatever we might want to do. So that's going to send it over to our system. Now, whilst it's doing that, I'll just explain about the analytics system. So the analytics system basically monitors the health and status of the applications that we build, and it allows us to then be able to determine if there are actually any areas that maybe might need addressing. So for example, we might get customers that are having specific issues in certain areas, so we can track and monitor all that sort of stuff. So it gives us insights into how the system is working. Okay, so we got the emails come in. So you can see the one, hey, can you print on wood, base material, texture, grain, blah, 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 and my response back to the customer. So we have the ability to track and support every question that's going to be asked through the app itself. So that'll be the way that we'll handle support with everything else. Now, just going back to the system itself, so I mentioned about insights, so we've got the analytics and insights there, and we've got the support infrastructure there, so I'm just going to have this as resolved. And if I want to put some actions in there, so we can track everything about every customer. So if I go to the Chaos one here, I can see basically we've had support tickets in here. So if you come back in the future and say, I did ask a question a while ago, wasn't quite sure what the answer was, we can actually go back and track all that. So we have this full architectural support system built in for any of our operators at Chaos can sign into and use. So the great thing is it means that we can track and monitor every part of the system to ensure that you are getting the best support possible. Now, support will be delayed if you're in different time zones because we are in the UK. So Don't expect an instant response if you are in a time zone outside of the UK. So please be aware we operate typical working hours 9 to 5 a.m. 9 to 5 a.m. 9 till 5 p.m. 5 days a week. But obviously we will check into it. So if we do have any issues over weekends, we can see it as well. Okay, so just wanted to give you that quick overview so you'll be able to see exactly how the system works. So when you are working and you want to play around with stuff, if it's not working the way you intended, then you can always reach out to us. In this instance, we're doing this beautiful design, simulating a coin. We're using a 3D raised foil. So maybe the customer's not getting the effect they want. Maybe it's looking like that, in which case we say try raising the height. It could be something simple, but you never know. So there we go. Quick look into how the system works with support and how we handle that internally inside the Chaos system.